Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday night, and you are watching the live Monica Makes It Happen Facebook show, and we have our new set. What do you think? Isn't it gorgeous? Thank you, Alan and Amanda, my fabulous producers. And we're coming to you with a very important show, and the timing of this couldn't be more perfect because it is the public rollout of the kids' vaccine for COVID-19. Of course, yesterday was the private launch, but here we are. And a lot of moms and dads have so many questions. If you're watching right now, we are going to have a pediatrician here live to answer your questions about the COVID-19 vaccine for kids. Earlier this week, if you remember, the CDC authorized the use of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. Well, as of today, kids within that age range, are eligible to receive that kid-sized dose of the Pfizer vaccine. And again, starting Monday, coming up, November 8th through the 15th, kids can get vaccinated at New York City public schools. That's huge. And kids who are getting vaccinated at public schools next week will also be eligible for a $100 prepaid debit card incentive. So that's huge as well. My colleague, Anthony DeLorenzo, has more.
This is a beautiful day.
Cheers and tight hugs from parents and staff at a New York City hospital as the first COVID shots are going into young kids' arms across the tri-state.
It's such a huge relief after the last 20 months of really just keeping them at home and just doing everything we possibly could to keep them safe.
For 11-year-old Jamie, who has a rare kidney disease, after 20 months, it's the protection she and her family had been waiting for to feel safe again. After getting final approval from the FDA and CDC this week, right now, children ages 5 and up are eligible to get the Pfizer vaccine at hospitals, pediatricians' offices, and pharmacies. Starting Monday in the city, it'll also be offered at 1,000 public school locations, but it won't be mandatory.
We want to make it available and easy for parents who prefer just to go to their local school building. So every school will have one day that's their vaccination day.
Today, city-run hospitals will start offering the shots for free by walk-ins or appointments. New York's chief doctor reminding weary parents the vaccine is safe, effective, and benefits far outweigh mild side effects like pain and fatigue.
This brings very significant benefits to our children. If we were to vaccinate every New Yorker aged 5 to 11, it's estimated that we would prevent over 38,000 cases of COVID-19 just in New York City.
And that is certainly significant. The Pfizer shot that is being given out to children is 1/3 the dose that's given to adults. Remember, it's a 2-shot series, and you'll have to return 3 weeks after your first shot to get the second one. At this point, trials are still underway for children 6 months of age and up. So anyone in that age range will likely have to wait until early next year. Reporting live on the east side of Anthony DiLorenzo, Pix 11 News.
Well, thank you, Anthony. Such good information. And joining us now live is Dr. Diane Hess. Doctor, thank you so much. She's a medical director of Gramercy Pediatrics in New York City, and she's going to answer all of our questions tonight. So please drop them in right now. We want to hear from you. And I love the first question right out of the gate is, what is the difference between the vaccine dose for kids versus what mom and dad gets?
So just like Anthony just said, it is 1/3 the dose. So the adult dose was 30 micrograms per vaccine, and it's 10 micrograms. So 10 micrograms is given in 0.2 mLs, which is a tiny, tiny volume. If you think about any other vaccine your child has gotten, that's a half an ml. So this is even less than half of the dose of like a regular flu vaccine or a tetanus booster or anything like that. And it's given in a series of 2 injections. The minimum is 21 days apart, but you could do it within a month apart as well.
That's great. Good information. What are some of the common side effects? Because you've already today been giving this out. So what are the common side effects that you've seen?
So we gave about 45 vaccines yesterday, and we gave about a little bit over 100 today. And so far, we haven't had one phone call, like not one, about a side effect. We did see some siblings yesterday, like one of the siblings got the vaccine, and then today, whether they had after school and they both couldn't come together, the other sibling got their vaccine today, and we've asked all the parents, and nobody's had, like, our kids just basically forgot that they got the vaccine, except they're so excited about it. But what they showed in the studies is that children did have much less side effects. And if they did have side effects, it was the same thing like adults, like fever, fatigue, muscle aches, shaking chills, and nothing that can't be treated with Tylenol or Motrin.
If the child is 11, okay, should the parents wait until the child is 12?
No. So the studies were really done based on antibody response. So younger children in general have much better immune response than adults. So it's not based on weight. So really giving the lower dose if your child is 11 does not, will not affect if they're large or small. It's really based on how their immune response works. And when you're younger, you just have a stronger immune response, so it should be fine.
Great, that's good to hear. And can you take it with the flu shot?
Yes. So we've given a couple of kids today their flu shot and their COVID vaccine together.
Wow.
You can get it with any shot, actually. You can get it with a tetanus booster. You can get it with your HPV vaccine, any of them.
Now, I know so many parents right now are chiming in. What are some of the concerns, the big concerns that you've been hearing, and what do you say to them?
So, people are getting pressure from their families, from fake news, from misinformation, and then some parents are just nervous. How is it going to affect my child's immune system? So it doesn't really affect your immune system. The mRNA vaccine doesn't stay in your system. That's what's so beautiful about it. The mRNA actually primes your body to make the antibody to the spike protein, which is what is going to attack and fight off COVID. And then the mRNA goes out of your system. It's out of your system within 2 or 3 days. It doesn't linger. It doesn't alter your DNA. I love the American Academy of Pediatrics at aap.org. They have amazing videos that you could actually watch with your children, and it explains the science behind it. It's really,
that's a good idea.
Actually very safe technology, and you can watch. They're very child-friendly videos.
That is such a good idea to do that on your phone, and just like, if they're a little nervous. And does it affect your child's development in any way?
No, not at all. I guess the hardest part is getting your child to get the vaccine if they're needle phobic, but we're pediatricians. We give vaccines every day of the week. Even for the worst kid who was crying this week, within 2 seconds, they're like, oh my God, that was nothing. It was done. Because it's such a small volume. It's like such a quick shot. It's very, very quick.
I mean, I can relate to that because one of my children really wants to take it and the other one's really scared to do so. How do you deal with that if you have, let's say, kids who have different ideas about it?
So, just like maybe the one who's excited about it, setting the example, like, look, it was nothing, I got it. But oftentimes with siblings, that could be testy because they edge each other on and they start fighting. But also, like, we offer something called the Buzzy Bee, which is just a distractor. It's a little ice pack with a little vibrating ladybug or bumblebee, and you just put it on the arm and it distracts the sensation. So when you give the shot, they really don't know where it's coming. It's not like you're numbing the area. It's just a distraction. And I had this amazing 10-year-old patient today. She's one of my patients since she's born, and she pinched her arm. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, oh, my friend told me to make a distraction. And she's like, I didn't feel it at all. She just pinched her arm in another place, and she was 10 and she did that.
Oh my God, what a brilliant child.
Yeah.
And are there any medical situations or concerns where you would advise a parent not to get the vaccine for their kid?
So I had a patient come in today, and she was very excited to get the vaccine. And she's like, oh, by the way, I feel like I have a huge swollen gland. So she was 11. And her mom's like, she was fine. I sent her to school. And now, I checked her, and she definitely had swollen glands, and she definitely had a red throat. We did a strep test and a COVID test, and they were negative. Now, I have to say, if I was working in a clinic, and I might never see this patient back again for their COVID vaccine, technically you can give the COVID vaccine as long as you have no fever. But for me, I know this family well, and I know that they'll come back when the child is better. So I said, you know what? I don't want to muddy the waters. Because if we give her the COVID vaccine, and this is a kid who actually has a lot of crazy reactions sometimes. So I said, let's not from vaccines, but from medicine. So I said, let's just send her home, and I'll see her next Tuesday if she's feeling fine. Even on Saturday, if she's better, we'll give her the vaccine then. But really, the only contraindication is fever.
And we have so many people that are joining this conversation. I'm so glad. Again, parents, if you've had any questions, ask us. Now, how is your practice doing this? How are you rolling out the vaccine? How are you doing it?
So it's funny. One of the patients came in today because we're very community based. We're in Gramercy and Chelsea, and we know our patients walk here. We live in the community. I live in the community. She said, "Oh, Dr. Hess, I heard it was a party here yesterday." And I think it was a party for everybody but the people who were working. So they were like super excited families who came here, and like they were so pro-vaccine and so happy that their kids got it on the first day. Um, it's difficult. There's a lot of paperwork. Remember, these people are coming from all over. They're not just my patients. I have people driving from Westchester, Scarsdale, Long Island. People want this vaccine, and I got it first. So we have to register them in our electronic medical system. Everybody has to fill out the New York State form for the vaccine, so you'll be able to get your Excelsior pass. So there's a lot of paperwork. I have to have your insurance card. Even if I don't take your insurance, it gets billed to the state. The state bills the insurance companies. So there's a lot of paperwork. So there's also a lot of paperwork as a doctor. Like I have to fill out my fridge temperatures and my freezer temperatures and how many vials I use in a day. And then at the end of the day, if we don't finish that vial, we have to scramble so we don't throw any out. So like I just posted on Chelsea Mamas and Madison Square Park Moms. I'm like, I have 10 doses left, and people came running. So
That's
it's a
great.
lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and honestly, that's why a lot of offices don't have it, because there were a lot of obstacles to get the vaccine. It was not easy. We had like a 47-page application to fill out.
Oh my gosh. And Elle is
Yeah.
joining us. Elle, what are people saying?
Absolutely. I'm seeing some comments I wanted to pull up. So this is coming in from Bia, who says that her 10 and 11-year-old were vaccinated today. They feel fine, and we're so happy to finally be vaccinated. She also then added that her daughter did have a sore arm, but other than that, she's feeling okay. I also saw a comment from Valentina asking about the COVID vaccine and the flu shot. And doctor, if you can just elaborate if it is okay and why to get both at the same time.
Yes, you can definitely get both vaccines at the same time. And it's just like, it's one-stop shopping. You're there, just get them both done. The other thing is that, we don't know how bad flu is going to be this year, because we didn't have any flu last year. Everybody was home. So I know that other states are already seeing flu. New York City hasn't had many flu cases, but I do hear of sporadic ones from my colleagues. So, while you're at the doctor, just get both of them. The kids are going to do fine.
If there's one thing you would leave someone with tonight, if they're watching from their phone or from wherever they are, or on the bus, wherever they're watching us, what would you want them to know about this new vaccine for children?
So I would say that this is a game changer. It was so emotional the last 2 days in the office. We had so many parents crying because they haven't been able to go into a restaurant with their kids. They haven't been able to go to the museums. They haven't been able to fly. People have grandparents who are getting treatments for cancer, and they haven't seen them for 20 months because the parents are so nervous that they might infect the grandparents. I mean, this is life-changing. This is a ticket to freedom. It's a ticket to, ultimately not wearing masks. That's going to take a while because we're going to need to get a certain amount of percentage of kids vaccinated. But I want my patients to be, thriving and going to school without masks. I want the little kids who were born during COVID to learn to see what my smile is like. My patients haven't seen my face. To learn how to speak clearly by reading people's facial expressions and seeing how your lips move. There's so many milestones that these kids are missing out on. Socialization, parents are terrified. We're in New York City. You have to get an elevator. You don't know if your neighbor is vaccinated. You don't know if your neighbor has COVID. You might not have to wear a mask in your building. Do you want to get in that elevator with your kid who's unvaccinated? I mean, there are so many levels of this pandemic and social anxiety. I need my patients back in sports, back in dance, back in chess club. I want them to live again and be free. And the vaccine is the only way. And you have to remember, I know that people freak out about when they hear the word mandate. It's just been so politicized. Mm-hmm. And I actually I'm not that liberal. I'm really not a liberal person. But about medicine, I am. I believe in I believe in the society comes first. And you just remember that mandates are not new in this country. And, during the Revolutionary War, George Washington made all the soldiers get vaccinated for smallpox. I'm sure that was a decision that he had to make so they could win the Revolutionary War. And this is a battle that we're in now.
Dr. Diane Hess, you are a hero in my eyes. And I know we had a private conversation about my fears as a mom. And you said, well, what would you prefer? And you were very direct, where you said it can save lives. It can save children's lives and your children's lives. So thank you so much, doctor, for joining us. I think there's a lot of information in the show. Please share it with other parents. If you know of any parents that might benefit from the show. And keep right here on Pix 11. We're going to continue to cover this incredibly important story. And again, the public rollout for vaccines for our kids is here. It's not mandatory, but suggested. And thank you, doctor, for your time. We hope to have you back. And make sure to watch Pix 11 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10, and the morning show too. We're making it happen.